the Grinch stole Christmas. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, almost as much as you. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on just right, and it could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from this cave with a sour, Grinchy frown. You make a really big frown, like, "Urgh," like a mean Grinch one. Yeah. At the warm, lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. What was tomorrow? Christmas. That's right. All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys, and then, oh, the noise. The noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise, noise, noise. They have a lot of fun stuff, right? Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. What's your least favorite food?
I don't know, what is it?
What about your favorite food? Cheese? Yeah, like the string cheese. Those are pretty awesome. We like those too. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, sing, sing. And the more the Grinch thought on this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. I don't think he looks like him very much. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there is none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Poor Max. Do you think your doggy would make a good reindeer? No. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, white snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. See them all? Look at all of them. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles and roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. and he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. You think you would fit in that one? I don't either.
Only Santa will.
Only Santa, that's right. He's got the magic trick to go down. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash.
That's a lot of food.
That is a lot of food. He's even got a jar of pickles.
Even when we were going shopping, we found a pickle on a tree.
You found a pickle on a tree? Oh my goodness. That's kind of cool. Do you think you'll put a pickle on your Christmas tree?
No.
No.
Even we put a snowman, a s'mores on our tree.
You put s'mores on your tree, like real ones?
No.
I was gonna say, how do you resist eating them? Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree.
The Christmas tree is like so boring.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad tree. It's kind of slumped over. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. She's so tiny. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who had got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie and he thought of it quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a little light on the tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here. You think he's telling the truth? You think so? The fib fooled the child.
He gave her some water.
He did give her water. He's kind of nice. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. When Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. He took it. Then the last thing he took.
Fire thing down.
Yeah, he took the log too. He's not leaving anything behind.
Nope.
Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire.
He's not gonna take the bed.
Yeah, that would be a big one to take. He could have taken the blanket probably, but maybe not the bed. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and wire. Yep.
What is the mouse eating?
Well, he left him that one little tiny crumb. Just the one little speck. But it was even too small for the mouse. He doesn't even want to eat it. It's too little.
Where is the little hole that he came from?
Oh, the little mouse? That's a good question. They're kind of sneaky. They kind of go anywhere they want.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been on like that side of the room. They didn't draw it. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for other Who's mouses. They have a lot of mice in that town.
Wow. Christmas tree.
He's got everything in there, doesn't he? What do you see in there?
I
This big giant sleigh.
see Christmas trees, a boat, a sailboat, and a worm,
Mm-hmm.
and a buoy, a train, a wagon.
Yeah. Ooh, a big bell.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff. It was 15:15 dawn, all the Who's still in bed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. Everything. That's a lot of work.
How can we?
3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crepit. He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Do you need some help? There you go. The story has you on the edge of your seat. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was graciously humming. They'll find out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. Even the bird is like, what are you doing? It's a lot of stuff. That's a noise, Grinch.
But except he won't take the bird.
Yeah, you didn't take the bird.
He would only take the worm.
Just the worm, that's right. Maybe that's why the bird's chasing him. He's like, you have a worm. I want to eat that. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I must simply hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. Do you think they were sad? Let's see. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was very merry. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. See, they're all singing together anyways. Take that, Grinch. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And then, what happened? Give everything back. Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
They're putting him down.
Yeah, he is pushing him down. He's a good reindeer dog.
Yeah.
And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Now it's nice. Yay! He did the right thing. Well, that leaves your treat. Should I have the treat, or do you want the treat? Okay. Well, I heard you love Santa so much, so Santa bag. It's for you. Take it. Do you have any questions about Santa, or maybe about the North Pole? Like maybe his favorite cookie? Then you could put those out and maybe score everything on your list.
We already did that.
Oh, yeah.
What do the reindeers eat?
Reindeers eat.
Ask her.
Well, ask her. She's from the North Pole.
Well, ask Holly.
They're orange. They eat orange.
You had one today. You had one
It's
this afternoon.
crunchy. It's a vegetable.
Okay.
That's right. They eat carrots. And sometimes they really like oatmeal because everybody puts carrots out. So a nice oatmeal break helps. But Santa, he really loves chocolate chip cookies the most. He eats those right up. What kind do you normally put out for him? Sugar? Anything like that.
Whatever
works.
mom makes, right?
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want me to tell Santa for you?
Is there something special on your list? You want to make
Yeah.
sure that.
Special on your list.
Is there something special
What's the
on your
number
list?
one thing you really want for Christmas? You didn't know.
Roller skating mini.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. I will let him know. And he did let me in on a little secret. He told me which list you're on. Do you think you're on the naughty list or the nice list?
The nice list.
You are! Up top. Being nice is awesome. Well, thank you for letting me stop by. I really loved reading this book to you. And I hope you like your treats. And I will tell Santa about what you really want.
Okay.
And I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.